Greetings Earthlings, today I'm back with a review of a multi-pattern condenser microphone from Shure. That microphone being the Shure KSM44a. If you are interested in this microphone, it will cost you around $1,000. Like always, I'll throw some links down below. For the majority of this review, I have the mic connected directly to the Focusrite AT2020 2nd gen. My gain is set at around 1130. I will not do any kind of post-processing, but I may have to boost it a little bit in post, so check the doobly-doo to see what I diddly did. And now let's talk about what comes in the box. First, everything comes in this awesome storage case for all of the mic, the accessories, everything. You will, of course, get the microphone, big shocker there, a sleeve for the microphone, two mounting options including a firm mount as well as a very robust shock mount, and I believe a 5/8 to 3/8 inch adapter. I can't remember, I've had this thing out and have been using it for a year and a half, so I've forgotten. You'll also get extra elastic bands for the shock mount, some documentation, and a sticker! I hate them! They suck, bro! Then as far as the build quality, I could not complain about this thing if I wanted to. It has an all-metal body which feels very nice, a metal mesh grill which has absolutely no give to it whatsoever. On the front of the mic, you will find a 3-way polar pattern selection switch. On the rear, you have two additional switches, the first one being a -15 decibel pad, and the second being a 3-way high-pass filter selection switch. On the bottom, you will find an XLR port to connect this to your interface or preamp, and if manufacturing location matters to you, this mic is made in Mexico. Then as far as the specs, this microphone has a cardioid, omnidirectional, and bidirectional polar pattern, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity of around -31, -37, and -36 dB on the cardioid, omni, and bidirectional polar pattern respectively, a self-noise of only 4 dBA, 6 dBA, or 7.5 dBA on cardioid, omni, and bidirectional respectively, max SPL with the pad engaged of 150 dB, 152 dB, and 151 dB on those same polar patterns, same order, all that stuff. The high-pass filters are -6 dB per octave below 115 Hz or -18 dB per octave below 80 Hz. The impedance is 50 ohms, and the phantom power requirement is between 11 and 52 volts. Now I am on the cardioid mode, moving around to 90 degrees to show you the off-axis rejection and coloration. Continuing around to 180 degrees, here's the rear of the mic. Continuing around to the second 90-degree angle, here you go, and then ending at the front of the microphone. Now I am on the omnidirectional polar pattern, and as we move around the microphone, we should hear very little change to the tone of the recording, because it should pick it up fairly evenly all the way around, and now we are at the front of the microphone again. And lastly, we are on the figure 8 polar pattern, moving around to the first null area. Continuing around to the rear of the microphone, here's what the rear sounds like. Continuing around to the second dead area, there you go. And then rotating and ending at the front of the mic. Now let's go ahead and see how well the microphone does at rejecting plosives. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Now I am right on top of the microphone, and here is how it is sounding. About 3 inches off of the microphone with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here is how the audio is sounding. About 1 foot away from the microphone, 2 feet away from the microphone, and about 4 feet away from the microphone. Now I am typing on the keyboard with Gatoron blue switches to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. And for you elite gamers, now I am typing on the sad W keys. Here is how the microphone sounds on the cardioid polar pattern in a well-treated room. And here is how the microphone sounds on the cardioid polar pattern in a completely untreated room. Now, to see how well the provided shock mount performs, I will go ahead and tap on my desk to see how much of that it rejects. And I'll tap on the boom arm. Now I am going to go ahead and tap on the microphone to see if there are any kind of resonant frequencies. Now I am back right on top of the microphone to really accentuate that proximity effect. I am now going to engage the high pass filter and we can see how that affects the sound. Now I'm in the exact same position with that high pass filter in the first option, and here is how it's sounding. You can hear that low end really get cleaned up quite a bit. You don't have as much mud. It doesn't sound as unclear. Still getting some of that warmth though. Let's go ahead and try the second option and see how that sounds. And now I have engaged the second high pass filter option, and here is how it sounds at the exact same distance, exact same gain setting. And yeah, I really actually like how this one sounds, at least in my headphones. I won't know for certain until I monitor back, but I think I like this high pass filter quite a bit. Now let's jump to a new test that I want to do. I'm going to try the microphone on my Universal Audio X8. Currently, or throughout this entire review, I've used the Focusrite, but that is a little bit of a bottleneck. I am going to go ahead and switch to the Universal Audio, same distance, and try to level match as close to possible so you can hear how the better preamps and the better A to D converter affects the sound of this. And now I have switched over to the Universal Audio X8. If you hear some low-end rumble, I'm sorry. I just heard an AC unit nearby turn on. I can't do anything about that. But here is how the KSM44a sounds at the exact same distance running through the Universal Audio X8, level matched as close as possible. I'm giving it 30 decibels of gain, cardioid mode, and there you go. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of additional information to see what it would sound like in less of an affordable or entry-level interface with entry-level A to D conversion. Now I want to do a very quick comparison between the KSM44a and a bunch of other microphones on the market, and looking down, looking at the mics we're comparing it against, this is bonkers. This is crazy to compare this many awesome microphones. This is going to be a tough one, so let's get started with it. Like always, we'll start with the microphone we're reviewing. This is the KSM44a. I am 6 inches off on the cardioid mode, no high pass filter, no pad, connected to the 2i2 or 18i20 second gen, gain at 1130. Let's jump to the first mic. All right, first up, we are on the Neewer NW700. I'm including this for context because it is a popular microphone, and in case anybody is curious why I tap the microphones to check for resonance, that's why. Because you do not want that in a microphone, but that's the NW700, about 20 to 30 bucks. Let's do another comparison. Back on the KSM44a so you can get a palate cleanser and hear how this sounds before we jump to this next microphone, and nothing has changed in terms of settings. Second microphone. Next up, I am on the Audio Technica AT2020, 6 inches off, gain still at 1130. Check the lower third because I will have to boost each of these differently to try to level match them as best as I can. This goes for about 100 bucks, pretty popular, and here is how it sounds. Let's do another comparison. Hey, we're back on the KSM44a again, so you can hear how this sounds in between all the mics we're comparing it against, just to let your ears get acclimated to the sound of this microphone as opposed to back-to-back of the competitors. Third mic, let's do that now. Now we are on one of my all-time favorite microphones. This is the Rode NT1. 270 bucks for this. I am 6 inches off, gain at 1130, and here is how it is sounding. A very neutral, very pleasing, very unoffensive sounding microphone. There you go. Let's jump to the next mic and do some more comparisons. We are back on the KSM44a for a fourth time so you can hear how this sounds. Listen to my voice on it, get used to hearing how I sound. Cardioid mode, no high pass filter, gain at 1130, 6 inches off. Let's jump to the next mic. Now I am on the KSM44's little brother, I guess, the KSM32. This goes for about $500. It is not multi-pattern, just a single cardioid mode. And this microphone has something special about the top end. Listen to how soft it sounds. It's not overly offensive, but it's not overly dark. Really a great sounding microphone. Cardioid only though, so if you need multiple patterns, going to be out of the running, but if you just need a cardioid, I think it sounds great. More comparisons time. We are back on the KSM44a again. Listen to my voice, get used to it, enjoy it. Actually, I can't tell you to do that. That's your own prerogative. Hate it for all I care. But listen to it so you can hear the characteristics of this microphone before we jump to our fifth mic. Now we are jumping up in price quite a bit. I am currently on the Neumann TLM103. This is a cardioid only condenser microphone. No filters, no anything on this thing. This goes for about $1,100, and here is how it is sounding. German sound versus US sound. Which one do you like better? Let's do more comparisons. We're not done yet. We're not done. Don't think we're done. Again, we are back on the KSM44a. What did I tell you? This comparison section is crazy. That's why I'm here. I do this. It's crazy. Let's jump to the next microphone. I think I've done enough talking in this little section. Next mic. Now I am on the AKG C414XL2, one of the multi-patternist multi-pattern microphones out there. There are 9 of them on this thing. I am on the cardioid mode, no filter, 6 inches off, gain at 1130. This goes for about $1,100 as well. So a multi-pattern Austrian microphone versus a multi-pattern US style microphone. And there you go. That's a very quick comparison. We got some more to do though. We got some work. You got some splaining to do, Lucy. KSM44a again. Nothing has changed. Cardioid, no high pass filter. Gain still at 1130. And I am not aiming to disappoint. Let's jump to another microphone and let you hear how it compares to that. Now I am on the Austrian Audio OC818. This is another multi-pattern condenser microphone from, you guessed it, Austria. This is a relatively new microphone or a relatively new company. This goes for about $1,200. They do have a cardioid only version as well, which goes for $800, I believe. And 6 inches, gain at 1130. Check the lower third. I will have to boost this one quite a bit more because it is a relatively quiet microphone. But there you go. Austrian Audio OC818. Let's do more comparisons because we're not done. We're never going to end this thing. This is my purgatory, but it's the best purgatory ever. I love it. Who would have thunk it? We are back on the KSM44a again. I think I have a few minutes left on my camera, and same distance, same gain setting, same polar pattern, no filters. Here is how it sounds. Listen to my voice on it, listen to the character of it, and let's jump to another microphone. Now I have switched to the Sony C100. I'm including this because it's another multi-pattern microphone, but because people liked it so much in the comments, this goes for about $1,250 on the cardioid mode, no filters engaged, and here is how it is sounding. Very robust low end, very crisp top end, quite different sounding from all of these other microphones, and there you go. Just a quick comparison. Let's jump, and I think we got one more to do. Hey, we are back on the KSM44a. If I am not mistaken, if I did not miscount, this is the last comparison that we are doing. Listen to my voice on the KSM44a. 6 inches off, gain at 1130. Let's jump to this last mic and hear how it compares to that. And lastly, you knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I am on the Neumann U87Ai. 6 inches off, gain at 1130 still. And I am on the cardioid mode, no filters engaged. If I didn't mentioned $3,200 to $3,600, so 3 times more expensive than the KSM44a. And there you go. This is how it sounds. This is a voiceover standard. Many voiceover studios, voice actors use it, all that stuff. And let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. Which of these microphones did you like the best? Did you like the KSM44a? Did you like the TLM103, the C100, AKG, Austrian Audio, KSM32, NT1, AT2020, or the NW700? Yuck. All right, let's do the music test now. Charlie Brown, I'd like to sing a song today, and I think you know what it means. Charlie Brown, it's our birthday. Now, please don't ask questions. I don't know what indicates to Charlie Brown in this song that it is Arbor Day prior to me saying that it's Arbor Day. I just had nothing to sing about. I had just watched the Charlie Day It's Arbor Day special thing. It was right after what was it? The Labor Day one? I don't know. Is Charlie Brown fighting for unions now? I don't know. Don't ask questions, please. Okay, summary time. I don't think the 44A is a U87 replacement. I don't think it's a U87 killer. None of that stuff. I just think that this is Shure's answer to the U87. And first up, in terms of pros, the off-axis coloration on this thing is absolutely outstanding. Around 90 degrees, you do start to get a little bit of coloration, but it is still incredibly usable. Really impressed by that. Secondly, a 4 dBA self-noise. That's incredible. You're never going to have issues with the noise coming out of this microphone. Third, the max SPL being 150 dB means you're never going to have to worry about a sound source being too loud unless you're miking up a rocket launch or a shuttle launch or whatever. Shuttle launches aren't even a thing anymore. A rocket launch. And lastly, all of the accessories that come with this are outstanding, very well built, and very well thought out. And you know me, I'm a snob. I want a hard mount and a shock mount. And something I noticed really cool about the shock mount, you may think this is lame, but when the mic is screwed completely on, you're still able to rotate it within the shock. You don't have to unscrew that and then relocate it and then screw it back down. It's the little things in life that make it a little bit easier to record that I really like. And then as far as cons, I honestly don't think there's anything inherently wrong with this microphone. There's nothing that I don't like about it. If I had to get extremely nitpicky, I'm kind of baffled that the KSM32, the $500 version of this, the cardioid-only version, has a softer and nicer top end than this one. That would be the only con that I have. Then as far as my overall thoughts and opinions on this microphone, on the electric guitar, I don't think it's the most exciting sounding microphone, but it is unoffensive and pretty workable. It is more of a mid-forward sound to my ears. The low end isn't the tightest sounding, but with a high pass filter, that'll clean it right up. And the top end keeps all of that detail, but it doesn't get overly piercing, even when I got up to the upper register of the guitar. Then on the acoustic guitar, I think this is a very workable sound. The top end is incredibly lively, which I enjoyed. The mids were extremely punchy and sounded great on the Taylor, and the low end just got out of the way. It wasn't too robust, it wasn't muddy, it wasn't unclear, just worked extremely well on the acoustic. Next up for singing, I think it offers a relatively smooth overall sound, which I found very pleasing. Again, this is more of a mid-forward sounding microphone. If you want a modern sound, maybe not going to be your pick. The top end had all of that crispiness to it. You could hear the start and the end of every single word. However, I did start to hear a little bit of sibilance in there, and I think you would benefit from throwing on a de-esser. The low end was clean and unmuddy and perfectly workable, but you will be throwing on a high pass filter for singing vocals anyway. Lastly, for spoken word, I really enjoyed this microphone. The low mids were nice and robust, which added a bit of warmth and weight to the vocals, but it didn't get muddy or boxy. The mids were really difficult for me to describe or think of. The way that I came up to describe them is round. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I was going back and forth from all the microphone samples, I just kept hearing this round midsection, which is beautiful to my ears. And as far as the high end on this, I don't think it's a bad sounding top end, but as I already alluded to, I do think the KSM32 has a bit sweeter, a bit softer top end, which I personally prefer. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Shure KSM44a? Both yes and no. I don't think this microphone is going to win any awards for being an exciting or exhilarating sound. It offers an unoffensive sound with a killer spec sheet to back it up, a 4 dBA self-noise, a max SPL of 150 dB, an amazing off-axis coloration. This thing is just a studio workhorse. So if you like the sound of this microphone and you need a multi-pattern condenser microphone, absolutely, I would recommend it. But the reason that I said no, if you just need a cardioid polar pattern microphone, I personally prefer the $500 KSM32 a bit more than this. And as I've already said twice in this video, it's because I think the top end of the 32 is a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter, not as hard sounding, and especially if you're doing spoken word and only need that cardioid polar pattern, my personal pick would be the 32, and then you can save $500. And that is it for this video. I did use this for a cover song on Bandrew Plays. I will put that in a card and I will link it in the description. Also, if you want higher quality audio of this review, I will upload that to podcastage.com. And I think that about wraps it up. If you found this video fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a big old thumbs down. The count, which may be hided soon. Hided? Did I just say hided? If you want more videos, you can subscribe by clicking that logo down beneath me and hit that bell icon. Do me a solid, hit that bell icon and watch all the videos. And if you want to hang out in the Discord server, I haven't done this in a while, podcastage.com/Discord. Is there anything else I need to say? Yes, there is. Thanks to these amazing people over here. These are the $5 members and higher. If you want to be one of these amazing, beautiful people, click that join button and join at the $5 tier or higher. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you next week. Bye.